Continuing the life of King Robert. His story starts with his parents, Queen Edwina the absent-minded, and King Barnaby the bold. While Barnaby earned his title for his reckless bravery, charging into battle shirtless or wrestling crocodiles for sport, he was equally famous for his stubborn refusal to eat anything too fresh, claiming it lacked character. Tragically, this culinary philosophy led to his demise when, at a grand feast, he declared the fuzzy green ham to be aged to perfection. He died mere hours later, clutching his stomach, leaving 14-year-old Robert to inherit the throne. Queen Edwina, known for her peculiar habit of forgetting what day it was, promptly declared, "Ruling isn't for women," and retreated to her quarters to focus on her hobbies, which included mismatched embroidery and creating utterly baffling treasure maps that led nowhere. She remained a loyal, if unhelpful, presence in Robert's life, though she frequently called him Rodney by mistake. Though young, Robert took his newfound responsibilities seriously, if by responsibilities you mean immediately tearing apart the palace in search of rare and unusual items to add to his growing hoard. His fixation on Blackstone began when he stumbled upon a chunk of it in the mines and declared, "This is the most beautiful rock I've ever seen. It looks like despair." Determined to keep his mother safe from what no one knew, he demanded walls be built around the city using Blackstone and personally oversaw the construction. Robert, never one to shy away from physical labor, when it suited his obsessions, frequently joined the miners, though his presence was more a hindrance than a help. He'd often dig out a single Blackstone brick, hold it aloft, and proclaim, "A masterpiece, I shall name you Gerald," before cradling it like a newborn. By the time the walls were complete, the city resembled a giant brooding fortress that locals called the Black Hole of Taste. Robert would often stand at a distance, proclaiming, "It's perfect, oh my God, it's so perfect." Despite his intense work ethic when it came to hoarding, Robert always made time to patrol the streets with his mother. These outings, ostensibly meant to connect with the common folk, devolved into elaborate public roast sessions. Together they would strut through the streets, pointing out everything from crooked teeth to mismatched shoes, with Queen Edwina exclaiming, "Oh, look at this one, Robert! He's wearing 2 left boots. How quaint!" The people despised these visits, but dared not retaliate, as the king and queen had an uncanny knack for turning even the mildest complaint into a full-blown scandal. One unfortunate farmer, overheard muttering that Edwina had the brain of a goat, was promptly imprisoned. This event marked the beginning of Robert's infamous habit of jailing anyone who so much as sneezed in his direction. When Robert was 16, tragedy struck once again. Queen Edwina, in her typical fashion, had decided to host an impromptu ballroom dance in the throne room, wearing one of her most elaborate and impractical gowns. While spinning dramatically, she tripped on her own dress, fell down the staircase, and suffered a fatal head injury. Robert was devastated not only by her death but also by the fact that no one else seemed to find the incident as tragic as he did. To honor her memory, he declared a national day of mourning that consisted entirely of him parading through the streets, loudly mocking passers-by in her honor. "She would have loved this," he cried, pointing at a shoemaker with a crooked nose. "Mother would have said you look like a melted candlestick." With no one to temper his eccentricities, Robert's obsession with Blackstone and his penchant for ridicule spiraled out of control. He began constructing increasingly bizarre monuments to his mother, including a 30-foot Blackstone statue of her holding a magnifying glass titled, "The Queen of Critique." As for the imprisoned villagers, their numbers swelled over the years, as Robert would jail anyone who didn't meet his impossible standards of aesthetic excellence. Eventually, these prisoners became his workforce, mining Blackstone for his ever-growing hoard. Robert declared, "If they cannot meet my standards, they shall at least contribute to my collection." Despite his madness, Robert's dedication to his city was undeniable. "If my people hate me, then I must be doing something right," he often proclaimed, usually while cackling atop his throne of mismatched trinkets and shiny rocks. Treasure Island became a fortress of mockery, excess, and dark humor, a testament to a king who was equal parts absurd, ambitious, and completely off his rocker.